Oh my God. This thing has no business being false.
Fucking hell, you can't tame this.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I've never been one of these things that angry before.
It's got a fucking serious bit of attitude, this thing,
Heart rate, holy shit.
I was
this
scared
thing
as
on
well.
a wet day, mate. No
I was
way.
scared as well, mate. Can you imagine like, if we had a better surface, it would be fucking mega, wouldn't it?
Oh my Lord, that was absolutely mind-bending. I'm literally shaking.
It fucking scrabbled for grip then. It took longer to get grip then. Do you want to go again? Will you let us go again?
Do you know what? I think they're coming back.
Okay, yeah, we'll leave them then. Yeah, there you go.
I need a cigarette.
Oh, man.
That is the most fun thing you can do with clothes on.
Shitting hell, man.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. When we went past then,
How was it with the stones? Is it alright?
yeah, it's all right. I mean, you know,
When you watched his back, I was like,
we were both, we were like gone, mate.
Was it good, yeah?
Yeah, no, it was like it meant.
How did the other guy find it?
He loved it.
Well,
Mate, I didn't know where you'd gone. I didn't realise you were in the car.
so we did launch mode the first run, so I was on the paddles, so it took a bit of time to get but we did automatic then, but it scrabbled even more for 60 mile an hour. It's still spinning.
And it got to 140 before I could.
Windy,
I don't know how fast we were.
I think we hit 150 by the end of that.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
No, I didn't want to look. That's just immense, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, just gonna go hand it back up.
Glenn, we both shit ourselves then, mate.
Yeah.
Because we launched in manual mode the first one, and then I braked quite early, didn't I? The first one. Well, that one we just left it in race auto. Fucking hell, mate.
That was something
Throwing the
else.
shit out of us.
That was something else.
It's probably both go. Ah!
That footage is going to be incredible.
It was amazing. Wow.
Nice.
What a car. What a sound. Does it sound good on the outside?
Yeah, when I mean, it's so windy you couldn't hear it for a little bit, and then it suddenly just.
Suddenly just
Yeah.
breaks in. The footage from the start was really, really
I
good.
could hear it with the window shut.
So how was that?
That was pretty impressive, wasn't it?
So scary.
Yeah, that scared me as well, and I was driving it. But yeah, do you know, I mean, as we discussed, I think we did 2 runs. The first run we used the launch, which I've never used before. And I thought the grip was phenomenal with the launch. Bear in mind the tyres were cold at the first run. And then you and I went out and put it in race mode and automatic. And I think we were wheel spinning at 60 mile an hour still, weren't we?
There's one bit in the film where you can see me look down in horror as we passed through 140, still climbing.
Yeah.
I was just insane. I mean, look, I've spent a lot of time in cars like that, but you know, I've never been in one that's had that much power deployed that aggressively before.
Well,
It's
I've had a lot
just
of cars, and it's
crazy.
the only car that I'll never ever tame. It's the only car that I think out of all the cars I've had, it's the car that I respect the most because of the power. It's phenomenal.
You just have to.
But I think also, but when you do look at the engineering and the handling of it and the noise now, obviously, because that's the great thing about it, I love. You see how good they are, because we were going very fast, and I had no idea what we were doing. I think we were about 150 or something like that, and breaking down from that. I think we both screamed at one stage because
I screamed most of the way
It
down.
was losing a bit. It lost a bit of traction still, but listen, I mean, that's just like a hell of an experience that you never get a chance to. You couldn't do it on the road for obvious reasons.
And so a
we do it.
huge shout out to the guys at IAE at Little Staunton Airfield. We'll do some B-roll and stuff, but they've just been amazing. So yeah, thanks to you guys.
Yeah, we've been well looked after
Yeah.
today. It's been fantastic.
So tell me about your ownership of this car, because we were talking a little bit, you know, funny enough, this is a car we've seen before. So one of our previous customers had this with the same exhaust, sold it, went back to standard, and we fitted an X-pipe, back boxes and a remote. But you didn't get it and immediately put the exhaust on, did you?
No, I think well, look, anything like this is a considered purchase, and I'm not, I'm not a multi-millionaire. I've worked hard, and this is something I've loved cars since I was a little boy. You know, I've had all sorts of different cars. Cars have been a very important part of my life, and when I bought this, I knew very little about it. You know, I looked at the spec, and Franco from Joe Macari sent me the video of it, which I wish he'd never done because I bought it as soon as I saw it.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, but and then I looked at it, and then of course I had to think about financing the car and things like that. So I used Charles and Dean for the finance. And but when I got it, so I literally the first time I drove it is when I drove away from Joe Macari's.
Nice.
So Franco and I had been down the road in it about 20 miles an hour into Wimbledon and back again. So I had no idea, but I drove it out the day I bought it. So it's the first time I actually got behind the wheel, and I just thought, oh my God, this is special.
Yeah.
This is different. This is special. And I've had a 599 before. I had a 430. This is completely different. But there was always the issue about I like noise from a car. I like the car to sound good, and obviously Ferraris do sound good. But I knew there was more I could do with it, so I looked up the exhaust, and Novitec came up, and yourselves came up, and I just thought, look, let's have a look. And then we spoke.
Yeah.
I think we spoke on the phone. Or
Yeah, we did. We had a couple of chats,
because
exactly.
Franco gave me your name, and we messaged. And then of course, you hit me with the price of the exhaust system, and again, it's a considered purchase.
Yeah.
And everyone around me thought I was completely crazy, but then I was thinking, I know what I want from a car, and I think one of the things that did it for me is when you were talking through. I loved the email you sent me because it had video footage in there of the different exhausts and how they can sound, but you talked about what it gives you.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that did it for me was when you said about low down revs, you get a nice sound. So you don't have to work it because you can't drive fast, in normal conditions and these. So you don't get all the sound from it. Well, the Novitec exhaust, when I left Scudiero, when it had been fitted, I had drove down the road. I had a smile from wherever that is that's out in
Acton.
Acton, isn't it? Yeah, all the way to Wandsworth, and I drove past Joe Macari's, told Franco to come out and have a listen to this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just immense.
Yeah.
It complements the car.
What I find really amazing, and hopefully you'll agree, is that it's not just about making it louder, it's about making it sound better.
Yes.
And that's the big thing. It's like, yes, it does give you a lot more kind of sonic feedback at low speed, which is awesome. But then when you are pushing a little bit, it does just fundamentally sound better, and it gets a nicer tone out of the V12, which is, to my mind, the best engine that's ever been made. I can't think of an engine that's as impressive as this.
No, neither can I really. I think it's just incredible. And I think you're right, it does make it sound better. And I think it just enhances the whole enjoyment of the car.
Completely.
Like just now, it's like being an F1 car, isn't it? The sound. It's a great move. I'm so pleased I did it.
Yeah, that's really, really
So
good.
pleased. And of course, my spoiler at the back.
Yes. So which we've matched. So Novitec does two kinds of carbon. They do 2x2, which is the kind of diagonal weave, and then they do 1x1, which is Ferrari's kind of checkerboard, kind of fine stuff. And we've matched it perfectly. So you've got the surrounds at the exhaust, and then the lip spoiler matches it exactly. And it complete, especially with this colour, it just makes it pop.
And also, Dylan, I think it's I've got to mention the service I've had. I wouldn't be doing this unless I was happy with the service I've had.
That's really
Simple
kind.
as that.
I really appreciate it.
It was brilliant when I had the exhaust done, when I had the spoiler done, and the spoiler, had to be lined up correctly, and there was a little bit of a drop in the tailgate. They had to do the adjustment with that. But I picked it up and I just looked at it and thought, I've just made the right decision again with that. And we talked about that quite a lot. Again, all of these are considered purchases. I don't take this for granted that we just spend thousands of pounds on enhancing the car. It's got to be done for a reason, and you've got to be comfortable and happy with it. And I can't think of any reason why I wouldn't have been. Now it's just immense what I've done with it.
Well, this is kind of the beauty of being slightly more boutique, is that we can really craft a tailored solution for our customers. And so you kind of told me exactly what you needed, and I made my recommendations, and it seems as though we've kind of met that brief, which is really, really good. And I think this is a lovely, lovely car. And short of going and spending £1 million on the CGT, I think this is about as good as an exhaust sound as you can get from anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think what we should do now is find a pub, go for a little drive and maybe have some lunch.
Definitely. That
Cool.
sounds good
Let's
to
do
me.
it. Oh, they're just so, and that sound is amazing. Without being overbearing, right?
That's what I liked about it, because you don't want to, some exhausts, you've got to be careful that they become too intrusive, and the noise is constantly there. If we go up for the gearbox, plonk this into sport mode, bumpy ride.
There you go. I mean, on the motor, this is just made for motorways, right?
Yeah, you could cruise up and down. I mean, I don't think there's any denying that you won't step out of this like you're stepping out of Bentley after a few hundred miles. As far as practicality goes, it's a great. I mean, I can get my golf clubs in the back.
Are you any good at golf?
Not really. No. No. I play off about 15, so I do.
That
like
makes you
to
about
go.
5 times better than
Yeah,
me.
so I do like to play. See, the gearbox is a lot slower coming down in sport mode. If I go to race,
It's just instant. Yeah, and this sound is just really good. You get a nice amount of it in the cabin without being droney or
yeah, and
anything.
I like to have the,
Yeah, that's what you want your car to sound like.
yeah. Because to people outside, they're getting more of the sound than we are, aren't they? Really,
Yeah,
So,
exactly. But I mean, I guess this would have brought more of the sound into the cabin with the exhaust on.
without a doubt. But I think the whole, for me, I mean, we're doing 22 miles an hour. So look, the sound, if I go down to 2, you're getting that sound at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that's what I think's immense about it, that you don't have to wring its neck to get a good sound out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Be like above 6k in first.
There we go, with second
50
gear.
miles an hour.
It's still a nice little sound to it. It suits the car at all sorts of speeds as well.
What a lovely bit of road this is.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
So I think it's worth talking about your advanced driving course, man.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff do they actually get you to do?
Well, I mean, I took my police advanced driving course back in 1993.
Fine.
But, funny enough, it was up this area. We used to come up to Cambridgeshire from the Met. We come up to Cambridgeshire and did a lot of driving around there. But, I mean, a lot of it is about vision.
Fine.
And it's a lot about anticipation as well. So, keeping your vision up, anticipating what might unfold in front of you.
So how long were you on the police force for?
26 and a half years I did. And,
That's a full career.
yeah, it's great.
And you were SO19, right?
I was SO19 for a long period of time. I'm just going to overtake here. So.
Yeah, let's get rid of this van. See ya. God, this car's cool.
So yeah, I had a really good police career, but I love the driving. The driving was a big part of my police career as well,
Yeah. I mean, especially because you guys would have been tearing up and through London, right?
Absolutely,
There's a
yeah.
lot to think about there.
Well,
There you go, there's one
police
of
driving
your
course.
lot.
Police driving course.
Yeah, oh really?
There's a driving course, yeah. That's,
Okay.
So they're out here doing a driving course. Unless they come back now after us. But the other thing I've always taken with me, and particularly living out in the countryside now, more so than in town, was about always drive fast in the right places.
Yes.
The trouble with cars like this is that it's so easy to get out of hand.
2 millimetres of pedal travel.
Yeah,
will put
absolutely.
You in
You
trouble.
can get in some serious trouble with this car.
Yeah.
And I think I said to you, if I'd had this car at 30 years old, I wouldn't be here now.
Yeah.
Drive it within your own limits, and my limits have changed since I was a younger police driver than I am now. You know, and your reaction has changed. You change, and the fear factor changes.
Of course.
I'm more frightened
we
now
were
than I ever
discussing
was.
We just went through a very sleepy little Cambridgeshire village, and it was so sedate and lovely, and that's the kind of duality of this exhaust, is it does everything.
Absolutely, and you can, and also we can turn it down if we want.
Yeah.
But it's not too excessively loud, even in its with the valves, I think, call them. The
Yeah, exactly.
Valves open or whatever. But so we're in a 30 now. We're trundling along 7th gear. It's a 40 mile an hour speed limit, so
You could have a nap.
I love seeing the national speed limit signs.
I just put a smile on my face.
Well, the driving course will be looking for those as well, because they can go whatever speed they like.
What a you so much for coming and spending the day with us today, man. It's been amazing.
I've had a great time. It's been.
And I can finally say we've gone down a runway in a Superfast.
Big boys toys.
That's it, big boys and their toys, man.
We're very lucky, very fortunate to be able to do it.
Yeah.
It's been
But thanks again, man. It means a lot.
Well,
We had a great time.
I did this because I wanted to support you guys because I was so pleased with the service I had.
Thank you.
So the products I've had have been exemplary. So the least I could do is come out and enjoy myself, and then
And
do
you know
some
what,
race,
as we keep
you know.
saying, it hasn't been a bad Friday.
No, a lot worse Fridays, that's
Exactly.
for sure. But thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you.